have a statement from Magnus. Go. All right, here we go. Here is a statement from Magnus regarding the last few weeks. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Showtime. Dear Chess World, at the 2022 Sinkfield Cup, I made the unprecedented professional decision to withdraw from the tournament after my round 3 game against Hans Niemann. A week later, during the Champions Chess Tour, I resigned against Hans Niemann after playing only one move. I know that my actions have frustrated many in the chess community. I'm frustrated. I want to play chess. I want to continue to play chess at the highest level in the best events. I believe that cheating in chess is a big deal and an existential threat to the game. I also believe that chess organizers and all those who care about the sanctity of the game we love should seriously consider increasing security measures and methods of cheat detection for over-the-board chess. When Niemann was invited last minute to the 2022 Sinkfield Cup, I strongly considered withdrawing prior to the event. I ultimately chose to play. I believe that Niemann has cheated more, and more recently than he has publicly admitted. His over-the-board progress has been unusual, and throughout our game of the Sinkfield Cup, I had the impression that he wasn't even tense or even fully concentrating on the game in critical positions while outplaying me as black in a way I think only a handful of players can do. This game contributed to changing my perspective. We must do something about cheating, and for my part going forward, I don't want to play against people that have cheated repeatedly in the past because I don't know what they are capable of doing in the future. There is more that I would like to say. Unfortunately, at this time, I am limited in what I can say without explicit permission from Niemann to speak openly. So far, I have only been able to speak with my actions, and those actions have stated clearly that I am not willing to play chess with Niemann. I hope that the truth on this matter comes out, whatever it may be. Sincerely, Magnus Carlsen, World Chess Champion. Okay, wow. Wowzers, you guys. This is huge. So again, to give my opinion, I think it's very clear now what the realities are of the situation. That Magnus, it seems to me, thinks that Hans was cheating in the game that they played in the Sinkfield Cup, despite what was said by the organizers, despite what was said by the arbiters at that tournament in St. Louis, despite what was said by Ken Regan. It's very clear that Magnus thinks that Hans was doing something during the game. So this is the mic drop moment that I think everybody was waiting to see. And at the end of the day, I think we're gonna have to figure out what how we proceed from here. Definitely. And so a lawyer reviewed this letter first. Absolutely. Absolutely, a lawyer looked at this first. So exactly what Hikaru said the entire time. Magnus believes Hans cheated recently. Yes, of course, obviously. Like there was no other alternative. I know everybody, there were a lot of people for a long time who wanted to pretend that it could be something to do with hacking and leaks. Very clearly did not have anything to do with that. I would also say it's also extremely clear from this letter that Magnus has put out that essentially Hans, I think it's basically what it sounds like is Magnus has something, who knows what he has, but in order for him to release it, I'm guessing Hans has to say like, okay, I won't sue you or I won't do anything of that nature is my read. That has to be what is going on here. And so Hans has to, I guess, like, it feels like the ball is very clearly in Hans's court now. He has two people who are basically saying, you gotta give us permission to say stuff without any legal repercussions. If you do that, then everything comes out into the open. It seems very, very clear that when chess.com put out their statement in regards to the online stuff, that they basically said they had presented Hans with something, and if Hans was willing to discuss it publicly, they could. If he wasn't, they could not, is what it sounded like. And Magnus sounds like the same thing, where Magnus is essentially saying, if Hans basically says, I'm not going to sue you, or I'm not going to do any legal action, or I won't take any legal action, then Magnus will come out with everything he has. So it feels like the ball is very clearly in Hans's court right now. Now, what will Hans do here is the big question. Now, if Hans does not say anything, I mean, I think that looks very suspicious. So you assume that Hans, if Hans is truly innocent in all of this, Hans should basically come out and say, okay, like, show me what you have, and that's that. Basically, like, show me what you have, and that's that. End of story. If Hans doesn't give permission, I mean, I think it's very clear, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. It feels like, that has to be the situation. No, can I check the game? Actually, if my mods can give me the PGN of that game, I will take a look at the game. Hans isn't going to say anything and just pretend nothing happened. I mean, if Hans doesn't say anything, I mean, the way I see it, it feels to me like he must be admitting something then, right? That has to be the case. I mean, there's no other actual answer to all of this as I see it. I mean, what other answer can there be? I mean, taking the fifth is not admission of guilt, but Hans has said that like he's completely clean, he's done nothing over the board. He's said that. So then, I mean, if that's the case, why is he not coming out and saying anything? MrBeast, of course, we don't know yet. MrBeast retweeted. I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get into. See a bunch of random. There's gonna be a lot of random garbage, so I'm not gonna scroll through it. Well, let me see what MrBeast said. MrBeast Twitter. 1 second. Yeah, let's see. Tweets and replies. Let's see. What did MrBeast say? What did he do? He said, oh, he made a joke. He said they should do a TSA body scan. They should do a TSA body scan before a match to check for anal beads. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh my gosh, wow. I'm a lawyer and Magnus' statement is perfect. One cannot defame another if it's his opinion. And Magnus' statement is clearly opinion and not presented as a statement of fact. Furthermore, if Hans were to sue Magnus, it would be Hans's burden to prove that he didn't cheat. Aha, okay. Fair enough. All right. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're a lawyer, maybe you aren't. Either way, it seems to me that no, I don't think Hans is clear at all in all of this. As I look at it, I mean, the ball is in Hans's court. And if Hans doesn't say something or like the information doesn't come out, then I mean, then it seems like he's admitting something, but who knows? I mean, nobody really knows at this point what's going on. But yeah, this is you know, it's also worth noting that the cheat detection prior to when Magnus dropped out of the tournament was very light. They were doing a very basic scan with a metal wand. After Magnus dropped out, they were doing RFID scanning and things of that nature as well. So this is, yeah, they changed a lot. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is a very, very strong statement from Magnus. And you know, I think for a lot of people who are saying that Magnus is a lot of people who are saying that Magnus is you know, just salty, it's very clear that that is not the case. And this yeah, it's what it is. Should I check Hans's first 3 games? Oh, I could do that. I can definitely do that. My colleagues are a bit paranoid. Yeah. No, I mean, this is serious. So now it's serious. The ball is very clearly in Hans's court. And if, you know, if Hans is like, okay, I'm completely innocent or something, he's going to he's going to, I mean, I assume Hans is gonna be like, okay, well, yeah, I agree, I'm not gonna sue you, I'm not gonna do anything legal, you can just say what you have. I mean, I don't know why Hans wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, Hans says he's innocent, so you think he has to, that's what he has to do, just come out and say, okay, like, you know, I didn't do anything, like, you guys can go and look through my games or show me the evidence or whatever. But that's the way I see it. So very interesting. I'll wait to see if anything more happens. There'll probably be some tweets and replies, but you know what I'm going to do right now, though? I'm going to take a look at the first couple of games in Sinkfield, because now with the statement from Magnus, it's, I mean, again, like, let me just understand this. Let me reread it one more time. I believe that Niemann has cheated more and more recently than he publicly admitted. Now, it's funny, you know, the way this is worded, it says he's cheated more and more recently. It does not say over the board or online. It says more and more recently, which is good wording, of course, to avoid something that says that he's publicly admitted. And then it says over the board progress has been unusual. Okay, alluding to the fact that if you scrap out the 12 months of COVID when nobody could play, his rise is one of the fastest of all time. And throughout our game of the Sinkfield Cup, I had the impression that he wasn't tense or even fully concentrating on the game. So again, this is worded very, very, very carefully, but reading between the lines, it's very clear that Magnus thinks that he cheated in the game against him. So I'm gonna actually let me pull up the let's take a look at Hans's games. Let's take a look at this. So let me close all my windows in chess space. Give me 1 second, and I'm gonna take a look at the games, and I kind of want to see. I want to see what it looks like when all is said and done. So let's take a look at the first couple of games from St. Louis. You know, now the other thing that's very unclear is we're going to see what happens with the United States Chess Championship, which is supposed to be happening in 2 weeks, because at the end of the day, after this tweet from Magnus, now there's the US Championship, which Hans is currently scheduled to play in, and you have Levon Aronian, Wesley So, who was watching our stream earlier, Fabiano Caruana, and many other players as well who are 2,700 plus. Are they going to feel comfortable with Hans playing this tournament? I don't know. Like, it's going to be a very, very dicey situation, you know, in terms of what the organizers choose to do there. So, all right, let's take a look. Let's go back and take a look at a couple of the games from St. Louis now, and then I'll probably wrap it up with all this, because I doubt we're going to hear anything new. So, okay, go to analysis. Let's check. Let's see. Let's go to let's check. Standard. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look. Let's see what we got from this. How is the eval bar right now? I mean, the eval bar is, I mean, it's probably good for Magnus, I would say. Yeah, you don't have to like the statement, but again, I mean, I know everybody wanted to believe there was something. They wanted to believe there was something else going on, you know, like leaked prep or something, but very clearly that's not the case. You know, I think for those of us who have been following this very closely, those of us who've heard the rumors for a long time, I mean, it was very clear that this is what it was. Okay, let's take a look. What do we have here? Okay, so normal game, 70 here, 70 and 59. So normal game looks normal. Okay, that's good. This looks normal. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at the game against Levon. Now, this game against Levon was, of course, a draw. Let me just close this window and create a new board window. There we go. Okay, Control V. Okay, let's take a look at this game against Levon as well. And then, of course, I'll look at Magnus. 70 is good performance, but it's not anything insane. It's not anything insane. Let's be clear. But the hundreds, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, you don't have to agree with the tool. You can think that it's not legitimate, but I'm going to be honest. The numbers don't correlate. No other players are even remotely close to where Hans is. I mean, I have that one game which is 100 against Iturizaga, but none of my other games were even over 90. None of my other games were even over 90. Oh, the Google Doc has a summary of all the scores from a Sinkfield Cup. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Right. No, it's true. Outliers are always strange. Yeah. No, this is not yeah, this is, I probably have a few when you search. Probably I do. I wouldn't be shocked if I have a couple. I mean, I would assume that the stands want to go, they probably like go through all my games, Magnus's games, try to see if they can find 10 games with 100. Okay, so this was the game. Okay, this is much lower between Hans and Levon. Now, one thing again you have to keep in mind, and this is not to like pass judgment, but if someone is cheating in top level games, like if someone is cheating in top level games, you're gonna do it in a way that is not straightforward with 100%. I mean, the games are all being watched. So if something is being done, you are going to, you're not going to be doing it every single move. And keep in mind also, like, if you follow the storyline, and let's just assume, I mean, let's just assume that let's just say Magnus somehow is right and something has happened. You would over time learn how to do something in a much more sort of in a way that's more clever. I mean, over time, if something is going on, you start to become smarter and smarter about it. Anyway, all right, let's take one more look. We're gonna look at the Magnus game now. This is the one last game that I want to do. Control V, and let's do analysis. Let's check one more. Again, I'm not gonna look at a document right now, but yeah, let's take one more look. It's not gonna be 100%. It'll just be crucial moments. Yeah, I mean, this is yeah, it's all scary. It's all scary. No, I'm not going to look at online games because there's a general understanding that when you talk about over the board versus online is a much lower threshold for something to happen. Much lower threshold. We still don't have enough data from 20 randomly selected games. I mean, you can say that, but someone literally looked at all his games. There are 100 plus games over the board in that Google spreadsheet. This is not 20 games. This is like 100 games plus. I mean, it's not 20 games. 70 is phenomenal. True, 70 is very good. Yeah, actually, and to be fair, I was only finding like the games that I thought I played my best at, or games that I thought Fabiano played his best. So when you see the high numbers that correlate, those are like our absolute best games, to be fair. Yeah, it's not 20 games. They looked at all of Hans's over the board games from 2019 to 2022. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so what do we have? 43%, 71. Again, Magnus played. I actually know what I would wonder. I wonder if someone did analysis of all of Magnus's games over the past 3 years over the board. I bet you that this is the worst that he's played in any game since 2019. And again, someone will probably go and do the research on it, but I'm gonna bet you this is the worst that Magnus has played in any game. I would probably bet somebody money that this is I'm gonna bet money that this is probably the this is probably the worst game I think that Magnus has played in the last 3 years. That's my guess. 71 is phenomenal. Yeah, it is. No, I mean it's all, yeah, it's the 90s and the 100s that feel, I don't know, they kind of are bothersome.